Test. Test 1 2. Test 1 2 3 4. Good. صل على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الرحمن علم القرآن خلق الإنسان علمه البيان. الشمس والقمر بحسبان والنجم والشجر يسجدان. والسماء رفعها ووضع الميزان ألا تطغوا في الميزان. وأقيموا الوزن بالقسط ولا تخسروا الميزان. والأرض وضعها للأنام فيها فاكهة والنخل ذات الأكمام والحب ذو العصف والريحان. فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان. خلق الإنسان من صلصال كالفخار وخلق الجان من مارج من نار. فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان. رب المشرقين ورب المغربين. فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان. مرج البحرين يلتقيان بينهما برزخ لا يبغيان. فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان. يخرج منهما اللؤلؤ والمرجان. فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان. وله الجوار المنشآت في البحر كالأعلام. فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان. كل من عليها فان ويبقى وجه ربك ذو الجلال والإكرام. فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان. يسأله من في السماوات والأرض كل يوم هو في شأن. فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان. سنفرغ لكم أيها الثقلان. فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان. صدق الله العلي العظيم.
Jazakallah, Brother Ashfaq, for that beautiful recitation. Again, a reminder and a request for the youth that are sitting in the back, if we can come closer to the minbar, as close as possible. For the folks that are sitting on the chairs that don't need to sit on the chairs, can we please sit down on the mats, just so we can create that environment for all of us, inshallah. A couple other reminders. We are having a brothers discussion on Thursday. Sisters as well. Between Arbaeen day and night program, we'll have a sisters discussion, and then brothers discussion will be at night after the program, inshallah. Please look out for the announcements and on social media for further details, inshallah. We also, day of Arbaeen, all day, will have a blood drive. So if you're interested in donating blood, there are more information on Saba announcements on that as well, on how to sign up. With that, I'd like to welcome our visiting scholar, Sheikh Ali al Hilli, with a loud salawat. Salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
رحم الله من قرأ الفاتحة. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، وأفضل الصلاة وأتم التسليم على سيدنا محمد وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين. اللهم صل على محمد وآله. السلام عليك يا رسول الله، السلام عليك يا حبيب الله، السلام عليك يا خيرة خلق الله ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام عليك يا أمير المؤمنين علي بن أبي طالب ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام عليك يا فاطمة الزهراء سيدة نساء العالمين ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام على الحسن والحسين سيدي شباب أهل الجنة ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام على الحسين وعلى علي بن الحسين وعلى أولاد الحسين وعلى أصحاب الحسين جميعا ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام على التسعة المعصومين المطهرين من ذرية الحسين جميعا ورحمة الله وبركاته. صلوا على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد. قال الله تعالى في محكم كتابه الكريم: بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إن الذين اتقوا إذا مسهم طائف من الشيطان تذكروا فإذا هم مبصرون. صدق الله العلي العظيم. Illuminate your hearts and souls with the recitation of salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. My dear sisters and brothers, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. We began yesterday's talk, yesterday's majlis, with an introduction to this particular individual. I remind you that this particular individual called Afdal, he's 25 years old, he lives here in San Francisco, in San Jose, and he works for Apple. He's an individual who wants to get up there. He wants to gain more wealth in order for him to prepare himself for marriage, in order for him to live a comfortable life here. And the discussion we are having in these particular nights, my dear sisters and brothers, is something that we are trying to answer some questions posed by this individual called Afdal. And in order for us to understand what are our duties towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, what is our taklif, when we said yesterday, La yukallifu Allahu nafsan illa wis'aha, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not burden the soul unless how much it can take, right? And so therefore we discussed this particular concept, and we talked about the three circles. We talked about the circle of control, that you put down and everything that you can control in that particular circle. and then we expanded into the circle of influence. What and who you can influence, you put down in that particular circle, and also the circle of interest, the things that are not under your control, and the things are not, you cannot have a particular influence over, yes, then these are the issues that will be of interest. Now, if you are more interested in this particular talk, then please refer back to yesterday's majlis. Now, it's really important we remember why we are attending the majalis of Abu Abdullah al Hussain salamullah alayhi. I do hope and pray that we always, when we finish the majalis of Abu Abdullah al Hussain salamullah alayhi, we take something back home. Okay? There is no point, in my opinion, to just attend the majlis, listen to it, and then go back, and you haven't really taken something with you, something practical that you can apply in your daily life. So yesterday, we asked you all to draw these particular circles. If you haven't, then please do. Write down what is the circle of control for you specifically, what is the circle of influence, and what is the circle of interest. Now, today, my dear sisters and brothers, with this particular introduction, what we want to do is we want to also specifically talk about this circle of control. Tomorrow we'll talk about the circle of influence. And with this particular circle, the circle of control, what can you control in your life? We asked this question, okay? Because the question, the previous question was, what is my duty? What is my taklif in this world? Okay? And we asked, okay, so what can you control in this world? The answer is mainly myself. I can control my actions. It's difficult for me to control other people's actions. Okay? I can influence them, but it's difficult for me to control them. So I can control my own actions. I can control my own self. And today, my dear sisters and brothers, what we want to do is we want to delve into this question of who are you? Yes? Who are you really? If an individual comes and asks you, who are you? Perhaps you will answer by stating that my name, for example, is Ali. I'm 45 years old. I live in London. I am this height, and I am married. I have 3 children. But then this individual will come and say, well, actually, are these the characteristics that have always been the case, or do they keep on changing? You say, well, they do keep on changing. You know, I used to have 2 children, now I have 3 children. Yes? Ali is a name that given to me by my parents. Before that, I don't know what I was. The age keeps on changing. I was 44, now I'm 45. Yes? So, this is not what really describes me as an individual. Okay? So what is it? Who are you? And this is a question that I do hope and pray that inshallah at the end of this majlis we can all leave with some sort of an idea of who are we? What is truly our purpose in this life? You know, we said this yesterday, and I do want to repeat it, that we live in a rat race, don't we? Okay? We also live in what we say is a hamster wheel. You know, a hamster is running in this wheel. And if you speak to the hamster, you say, where are you going? He says, I'm going somewhere. I'm really going somewhere. But actually the hamster is not going anywhere. He's always stayed in this wheel. Okay? He thinks he's going somewhere, but he's not going anywhere. The idea that we are running like a hamster wheel, and we're running inside this wheel, but we have no direction. We have no purpose. We don't even know who we are. We just run. We work day and night. We try and provide for our families, but where am I reaching? What is my purpose? What is my goal? Yes? Remember the bucket we talked about yesterday. How can I fulfill this particular bucket? This bucket of when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, لا يكلف الله نفسا إلا وسعها. Yes? And so, who are you? That is the question. Now, when we try to think about this question, my dear sisters and brothers, and I want us to slowly delve into this. Yes? We want to try and identify the components of the soul. So, the first point is that we do not want to describe our physical characteristic. As I said earlier, that our physical characteristics keep on changing. My height keeps on changing, my weight keeps on changing, okay? So things change. But we want to delve inside, and we want to really find out more about the soul itself. The soul that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala speaks about in numerous times in the Holy Quran. And so we want to really explore the soul. And once I explore the soul, I will find out slowly about myself, my true self. What the ulama say is that the soul is divided into 4 components. And I want you to stay with me here, yes? It's divided into 4 components. The first component is called al-quwwa al-aqliyya. Yes? It's called the quwwa al-aqliyya, the power of intellect. Okay? The second component is called al-quwwa al-ghadabiyya, the power of emotions or anger. The third one is called quwwa al-shahwiyya, is the power of what? Desire. And the fourth one is called al-quwwa al-wahmiyya, which is what? Which is the power of imagination. So I go through this again. Quwwa al-aqliyya, it is the intellect. Al-quwwa al-ghadabiyya, which is emotions and anger. The quwwa al-shahwiyya, which is desire. And al-quwwa al-wahmiyya, which is imagination. So our soul is divided into our intellect, our emotions, our desires, and our imaginations. Okay? These are the components of the soul. Now, how do these work? Remember, we're delving inside us here. And we'll get into the practical side of things. This is just an introduction of the theory. How does this all work together? You know, they try to work together on a daily basis in your daily actions. Let me give some analogies. Have you ridden a Charlotte before? You know, at that particular time, previously, they didn't used to have cars. So they have these things called Charlotte, right? You have the driver. You have 2 horses. The one on the right and the one on the left. Okay? And you're driving them. You, the driver, is the quwwa al-aqliyya. You are the intellect of that particular Charlotte. Okay? You drive everything. You're the driver. The horse on the right is quwwa al-ghadabiyya, the power of emotions. The one on the left, the horse on the left, will be the desires, the power of desire, the quwwa al-shahwiyya. So you have these 2 horses, and you hold on the rope. You are the driver, and you can drive these either to the left. You take them to the left. You take them to the right. Sometimes this particular, and they need to be in what? In sync with each other. Where is the power of imagination? Where is al-quwwa al-wahmiyya? The quwwa al-wahmiyya is your navigator, is your sat-nav in this Charlotte. Is an individual who's sitting down, tells you, well, you need to turn right. It's best if you turn left. No, it's best if you go straight. It's best if you stop. This is the power of imagination. Or we can say this is your thoughts. Yes? These are your thoughts. Now let's take every single station, every single power, and describe it in a few moments. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. So we have the quwwa al-aqliyya. The quwwa al-aqliyya, of course, is the power of intellect. This is the driver, isn't it? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created human beings They're different from all of his other creations. Why? It's because he's given this jewel. Eckhart Tolle, does anyone know who Eckhart Tolle is? He's published a book called The Power of Now. We'll talk about the power of now, inshallah, later. And he starts the book by saying the following. He says that you are walking and you see a beggar. This particular beggar is sitting on a box. And the beggar tells you, spare some change, please. Give me some change. You say, well, I don't have any change. Okay? But have you opened the box that you are sitting on? You tell the beggar, have you opened the box that you are sitting on? The beggar says, not really, there's nothing inside the box. And you insist, you say, well, have you actually opened it? Get up, open the box. Maybe it's something that's of use to you. So the beggar gets up, opens the box, and finds the box as full of gold. Interpretation of this, my dear sisters and brothers, is that we are all sitting on this box of gold and we are beggars. We are individuals who beg. We want knowledge. We want to understand ourselves. We want to understand the world. But we don't use our intellect. We don't use the box of gold that we're sitting on. We just need to get up and open the box. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given it for free. You don't need to pay for it. As a human being, you qualify automatically to have the intellect, to have this quwwa al-aqliyya that helps you to understand what is rational and what is irrational, understand what is haqq and what is batil. That is al-quwwa al-aqliyya. No others have this. Do the animals have it? Imagine if the animals have the aql. They'll empower us. Okay? So, al-quwwa al-aqliyya, my dear sisters and brothers, is a jewel. It's a gift that has been given by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to all of us. That is al-quwwa al-aqliyya. Now, we have, of course, al-quwwa, one of the horses, the horse on the right, al-quwwa al-ghadabiyya. Let's talk about ghadabiyya. Al-quwwa al-ghadabiyya, anger. Yes? It's the emotions. Anger. This particular component of my soul, my dear sisters and brothers, is crucial. Why? It's because anger is important. Allah has created anger in my soul because anger is important. Now, what's happening in Gaza, we have to always give examples of Gaza, shouldn't we? So that we don't forget. Some of us forget, unfortunately. That's why we are called insan. Insan comes from nasi. We are forgetful beings, yeah? Because sometimes we get into our lives, it's all very comfortable. I have food, I have water, I have family, I have home, I have a job. But the people in Gaza don't have any of that, really. So we've got to remind ourselves of these individuals. So when we look at the genocide that is happening in Gaza, we get angry. I get angry. I have to, sympathize and empathize with these individuals who are suffering. They're going through famine. They're going through oppression, injustice. And so, because of that quwwa al-ghadabiyyah, because in my own self, inside here, if you were to do a scan of the soul, I don't know, in the future they might come up with a scan. Now they do a scan of the heart, the scan of the kidneys, of your physical entities. No, the scan of your own soul, to see the state of your soul. Yeah? If they look at the state, that component of quwwa al-ghadabiyyah, yes, they find that, well, this particular component is very much needed for me to recognize injustice, to recognize oppression, to recognize, for example, when we hear and we remember the martyrdom of Saba Abdullah al Hussain, salamullah, we become angry to some extent. This anger helps us to move forward. However, anger has a particular line. Yes? These horses, as the driver, these horses can go right or left without you driving them towards the right or left. You can lose control. Yes? Sometimes as a husband, perhaps, I go home and I lose my temper because I've had some bad time at work, and I come and see the wife and the children and I lose my temper on. I am using this quwwa al-ghadabiyya, but I'm not using it in the best possible way because I don't understand myself very well. I've lost control of the horse in my Charlotte. We also have al-quwwa, anyone out there? Shahawiyya. Yes, al-quwwa shahawiyya, which is what? The power of desire. You guys with me? Yes? Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. I'll do continuous salawat so all we can wake up, inshallah. Okay? So we have al-quwwa shahawiyya, this power of desire. Now, is desire important for us or not? Tell me. Is desire important? Yes? So desire is important. Why? Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created us beings. We need desire. We need to reproduce. We need to eat. We need to drink. All of these are desires, correct or incorrect? Yeah? So this is the power of desire. We have to use them. But sometimes also we misuse them. There's a red cross, right? Red line. We misuse the power of desires. We eat things that we're not supposed to eat. We overeat, right? We have relations that are unlawful. This is, of course, misusing this particular power that was gifted to us by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now, go back to the driver. You have the power of imagination. The power of imagination, what does it do? It is the navigator to the intellect. The imagination speaks to the intellect, says, well, you got to turn right, you got to turn left, you got to go straight. Didn't we say this? Yes, it's the navigator. Turn left, turn right, go around the roundabout. You guys have roundabouts. Yeah. And so it speaks to the intellect. Now, the power of imagination says, like your thoughts, there are some good thoughts you have and certain not great thoughts you have. Correct or incorrect? Scientists say that we have around 60,000 thoughts per day. They've now reduced it to around 7,000 or 8,000. Okay? They used to say that we have around 60,000 thoughts. They have around 7,000 or 8,000 thoughts per day. These particular thoughts are generated randomly in my mind. And they tell me about things. They tell me about the world. They tell me about the environment I have. When I see a brother I know, it connects. It sends me a signal. Okay? They're merely atoms in my brain. They're bubbles in my brain. But what they do is they give me suggestions. Now, what do I do as someone who is, of course, a creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? I understand myself. I recognize that these are thoughts. So if a thought comes and suggests something to me, so for example, if a thought comes and suggests that I have to go, when I go home after work, for example, I go and I want to watch TV, right? A thought comes and says, well, Ali, you're too tired. Why don't you watch a Netflix series, this particular Netflix series, okay? I've got to, as a driver of the Charlotte, it's suggested to me that I should watch this particular thing. Now the desire, the horse is going, which way should I go? The desire wants to watch. Yeah, I do want to this. But who decides? Does the power of imagination decide? Does the two horses decide or the driver decides? Tell me. The driver decides. And what is the driver? Which power? Al-Quwwa al-Aqliyya, the intellect. That is the component that decides. This is the component that is the boss inside our souls. This boss, and unfortunately we see certain individuals that the boss is the desire, because they are always attracted to those desires. The boss is their anger, their emotions. They're always very emotional, very angry. The boss is the thoughts. They're always taken by their thoughts and they're not judged properly. Whereas someone who is hakim, who has wisdom, and this is what the ulama say, they say that if you balance this soul of yours, you become hakim, you have wisdom, and then when you become hakim, you will become just. And that's the ultimate level, isn't it? When we become just. And this is what these are the characteristics that are needed for the soldiers of the awaited Imam. Awaited Imam doesn't want someone whose soul is imbalanced, where your desires and your anger and things are all over the place. No, he wants someone whose driver is actually the intellect and is full control. Yes, I will take the Charlotte, I will take the 2 horses towards the right because I need to take them. This is whispering in my head, is saying things. Okay, I'm listening to you. I decide, shall I take the horses to the right or left? Where am I taking my desires? Where am I taking my emotions? I'm going to give you a second analogy so that we just try to understand. Every single one of us, so we've given the analogy of Charlotte, yes? Every single one of us has a kingdom inside us. We have a kingdom, a whole country, so to speak. Yes? The king of this kingdom is the intellect, the power of intellect. He's the king. He's the driver of the Charlotte, remember? You have the policemen, yes, or the army of the kingdom are what? Is the power of anger, the power of emotions. Al-Quwwal Ghadabiyya. You have the people who are what they call tax collectors, or people who like always take money from people, try to always make sure you pay your taxes, etc. And they go and knock on your door. Yes? Not sure what you call them in this country. This is the power of desire in your kingdom. Yes? And your advisor, the king's advisor, is the power of imagination. Now, you have a kingdom where everything is working perfectly. You have hikmah, you have wisdom. You guys still with me? Have I lost you? I don't like losing people. Allahumma salli ala. I know maybe it's a bit deeper than normal, but it's important for us. I always say this, guys. I really say this, that we are, I said this yesterday and I will say it again, that we are the followers of Muhammad wa Ali Muhammad. Allahumma. We've got to up the game, guys. We've got to up the game. Yeah, we've got to up the game. We're not normal. You were born, or if you're a convert, you are the follower of Ahlul Bayt Salamullah alayhim. The Ahlul Bayt are high level. We, as the followers of Ahlul Bayt, we have to try and raise our levels of understanding of our intellect. And we've got to understand ourselves. Yes? Remember what we said yesterday. Hussain Salamullah alayhi, he was martyred, sacrificed himself and his family for us to be here in San Jose in 2025 in Arbaeen. He expects more from us. Yes, we're doing great, but he expects better. So, in order for us to understand ourselves, we've got to understand these particular components. Now, imagine this particular kingdom is all hikmah, it's all really great. The king is in control of everything. The king says, policeman, I want you to go and arrest the bad guys. Arrest the bad people. The tax collectors, make sure the tax collectors, you take the tax of these people justly. The power of imagination, the advisor keeps on whispering and says, sir, king, okay, I think this is what you need to do. And he says, okay, I'm listening to you, that's fine, but I decide. I'm the king here. I'm the intellect. I am in control. Now I give you this scenario. What happens if the king suddenly is imprisoned? There will be a coup. Imagine there will be a coup in the kingdom, your kingdom. And mashallah, a lot of people, not mashallah, but a lot of people have had a coup in their own kingdoms. They lock the intellect. They imprison the intellect. The police come and say, we're going to take over. We are going to take over the kingdom. And we, the king, you're the king, we're going to put you in prison. Imagine they put the king in prison. What will happen to your kingdom if the police take over? It will be a police state, wouldn't it? Who are the police? The police are the power of anger. You will be a being that will always just be angry, fighting with X, Y, and Z, your siblings, your spouse, I was about to say your spouses. No, but your spouse, right? Your friends, your people at work, etc. You just keep on fighting. Have you seen these people who are always angry? You say, Baba, chill. Seriously, take a chill pill. Do you sell them here? Chill pills. Okay? Take a chill pill. Why are you so always angry for? But because he or she have imprisoned their king, have imprisoned their intellect. Imagine that the tax collector is, they're going wild. The king is in prison, they're all going wild. The police is going wild. The police are taking people, right? And they're killing individuals and they're torturing people unjustly. And the tax collectors are taking money from individuals unjustly. Imagine your desires goes wild. You go to a particular restaurant, for example, with a few friends, right? And they say, oh, don't worry about this, you can just have a bit of meat for today in this particular thing. You say, yeah, that's fine. A bit of desires maybe when I'm watching this particular Netflix series, or if I'm watching whatever in front of me, I am alone, no one is with me, indecent images come, I'm not in control of the king is imprisoned, okay? What do? I say, yeah, it's just for these moments, let me just watch this. No one is watching here, right? It's just me. Let me watch these indecent images. My desires overtake me. Just overtakes. My soul is imbalanced. There is alarm bells because the king is in prison. And you are in trouble. You are not achieving hikmah. And ultimately you are not achieving justice. You are absolutely imbalanced. Let me give you an example. So we've given two analogies of understanding our own self, of these four components. But let me give you an example. So you come in from work, an example we gave briefly. You come in from work, imagine that this is the husband, he comes in from work and the wife is sitting home taking care of children. And by the way, I need to say that it can also happen the other way around. That the wife also works and she comes home and the husband is taking care of the children. Just so that people don't complain at me. Say like, this is, we're equal opportunities we have. So the husband comes from work, and one thing that the husband always has told the wife, he says, look, what I want to do is I want to make sure that my bedroom is always clean. I get proper stressed. I get really stressed and angry if my bedroom is not always clean. So when I come back from home, please make sure my bedroom is always clean. The bed is done properly, or the clothes are put away, etc. One day, the husband comes from work, quite annoyed, not great day at work, goes upstairs straight away because he knows that the bedroom is immaculate. He opens the door. The first thing he sees is an absolute mess of a bedroom. The clothes are everywhere, the bed is not done, everything is dirty. The first thing that happens is the power of imagination. Thoughts will start talking to you. Remember, thoughts are these random things that come and they suggest things to you. And they say, if it was me, Ali, they say, oh, Ali, you've told her that you want the bedroom to be nice looking, right? Why is this not possible? Why is this not the case now? At this particular moment, it depends if Ali has put his intellect, his king, in prison or not. Remember, sometimes we put the king in prison a bit and we take him out. Some people put the king into prison a lot. Some people, no, take them out, take him in as a king more times. So it depends, where is your king at that moment? So at that moment, the thoughts come and tell you, well, you should go and make a fuss out of this. The quwwa al-ghadabiyya will say, yes, yes, absolutely. You know, the policeman, one of the horses, will say, yes, come on. You've got to make sure that you tell her and teach her that what she's done is wrong. Because this is a quwwa al-ghadabiyya, he's angry. If this is where the difference comes in, if we've used our intellect or not. If, I'll give two scenarios, if that you have imprisoned your intellect, what you will do is listen to these thoughts. Yes, you overwhelmed by anger, explode. You know, Imam al-Kadhim salamullahi alayhi is known as Kadhim al-Ghayz. You know what Kadhim al-Ghayz is? وَالْكَاظِمِينَ الْغَيْظِ, it says in the Quran, وَالْكَاظِمِينَ الْغَيْظِ وَالْعَافِينَ عَنِ النَّاسِ. Who knows what Kadhim al-Ghayz means? Yes, you know what Kadhim al-Ghayz? Kadhim al-Ghayz is when you restrain your anger. Ghayz is anger. Kadhim is when you restrain. Imagine you're blowing a balloon, and just before it blows, right to the last breath, it becomes really big. Just before it explodes, you hold it. That's Kadhim al-Ghayz. You know, sometimes when we become so angry, it's cooking, especially us men. I don't know why. Okay? But us men, we're very angry people. We're like, maybe because our egos. Oh, great. So the men, we're just like angry, asabi, right? So have you been through this time when everything is boiling and you're about to explode? And when you explode, man. Nothing can stop you. Okay? But just before you explode, you stop yourself. This is Kadhim al-Ghayz. So I go upstairs and I see it complete mess. I'm about to explode because I have imprisoned my intellect. Quwwa al-Ghadabiyya has taken over. I explode. I go downstairs. I've told you so many times. Why is the bedroom this? Why is it like that? And then it starts a whole argument, a conflict. That's the scenario if I've imprisoned my intellect. What happens if I have not imprisoned my intellect? If I have not imprisoned my intellect, the thought will still come and says, remember, the power of imagination sometimes gives you bad things. Sometimes gives you good things, sometimes bad things. They're your thoughts. You have good and bad thoughts, correct? Yeah? So it gave you bad things. You should go and shout at her. What you do at that moment, if you haven't imprisoned, just one deep breath. You're in the moment, in the now. Your intellect comes in. Intellect says, you tap into your intellect. What's the decision? What should I do, O intellect? Because this is a jewel. Remember the box I am sitting on? The box of gold, we said? What can I do? This is a gift from God. Allah gives you guidance here. What can I do? Because I am in charge of the kingdom. The intellect says, احمل أخاك على 70 محمل. The narration says, that you give 70 excuses to your dear brother or sister. This is what our Islam says. The intellect says, maybe she has been ill today. Maybe she's been out all day. Maybe she has been occupied by certain things the whole day. Maybe there are certain things that maybe she is suffering from something that she couldn't speak to you about. There is something, of course, going on. There is a reason. Even if there is no reason, right? Then you come and speak to her. How can I help you? Is there anything you want to talk about? Because this is outside the norm. She usually cleans up. But even if there is no reason, you come and sit down in the best possible way. Because you're in charge. The king is in charge of your own kingdom. So, what you do is you say, that's fine. You go and change your clothes, go downstairs, have dinner, etc. And just say, I just noticed upstairs, it's, but is everything okay with you? Things like that. She will then tell you, and then everything is done. Everything's calmed down. Do you see the difference? The difference is that the intellect is in charge of this one. The previous scenario, the intellect was not in charge. Yes? This, my dear sisters and brothers, it is what is inside us, this soul. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we started with this particular verse. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Holy Quran, إِنَّ الَّذِينَ اتَّقَوْا. And I just want you to, maybe a salawat, sallu ala Muhammad wa إِنَّ الَّذِينَ اتَّقَوْا. Those people who are what? What's it taqwa? It's God consciousness. إِنَّ الَّذِينَ اتَّقَوْا إِذَا مَسَّهُمْ طَائِفٌ مِّنَ الشَّيْطَانِ. If the shaitan comes and whispers, remember the power of imagination sometimes is influenced by the shaitan. The shaitan whispers in a form of a thought. The shaitan comes and whispers. When I went upstairs, I looked at the bedroom and it's an absolute tip. The shaitan came and whispered in my head. He said, oh, you go and shout at her. You make a fight out of this. The shaitan did that, didn't he? إِذَا مَسَّهُمْ. If those people who are God conscious, if the shaitan comes and whispers in their head, إِذَا مَسَّهُمْ طَائِفٌ مِّنَ الشَّيْطَانِ تَذَكَّرُوا. They become conscious. فَإِذَا هُمْ مُبْصِرُونَ. And they're very observant. Why? It's because these people, the people who are taqwa, they know the difference between the whispers of the shaitan and not. They can recognize that this is the whispers of the shaitan. The people who have taqwa are in charge of their kingdom. They make sure that the king is always there. He's not imprisoned. The king is always there. He's sitting and he's in charge of the whole kingdom. Desire, anger, imagination, you're all under my control. Yes? I am here. When indecent images come on the screen, I make sure I change it. Right? When a situation that wants me to get angry in, I make sure that I restrain my anger. Of course, these are simple examples. There are many other examples. And I understand and comprehend that these thoughts, not all of them are good thoughts. There are good and bad thoughts. And I've got to filter them according to my intellect. Slowly, slowly, then I will try to achieve hikmah in my life. If the kingdom is in charge, you are wise and you are just. You are just with your family. You are just with your self. You are just with your friends. You are just in society. But if there is an imbalance of the soul, then you will become unjust at your workplace, in your family, with your friends and in society. So, this is, my dear sisters and brothers, what we understand of the soul. Understand of the components of the soul. Now I'm going to give you two practical ways in order for us to know how to sit down, make sure that we sit the king down and not imprison the king. Make sure we use our intellect. The first one we talked about is being in the present moment. Again, with this example, I go upstairs, I see the mess, etc. Right? How would you ground yourself on the present moment? My dear sisters and brothers, being in the present moment is so important. Why? Do you know why? Because you only possess at this moment in time, or in any other moment of time, you only possess now. Can you possess anything else? So 5 minutes ago, do you own 5 minutes ago? 5 minutes from now, do you own it? How do you even know you're going to live 5 minutes from now? You, my dear sisters and brothers, can only own right now. Right now. And the next second is now. And then the second after that is now. It's always just now. We don't have anything else. Can we own anything else? We don't own anything. We only own the present moment. I don't know what's going to happen in half an hour. The last half an hour is gone. Okay? The past is not a place of residence. The past is not a place of residence. And the future is unknown. The future is unknown, it's uncertain. Inshallah, you all go back safely to your houses, to your homes after this majlis. Is it guaranteed? Do you know what's going to happen? What's going to happen when you drive? Do you have a guarantee? You don't. And you're not supposed to, because this is what we be created. We be created to live in the moment. When you ground yourself in the moment, when you put your feet on the floor and you say, I am in the moment right now, you are in control of your kingdom. Take some deep breaths when you feel like you're overwhelmed, when you feel like your quwwa al-ghadabiyya is about to take over, or the quwwa al-shahawiyya is about to take over, your desires and your anger is about to take over. Take some deep breaths. Be in the present moment and then decide, because when you tap into your intellect will guide you. Your intellect is like the nur, the guidance for all of us. Then we will try to achieve, as I said, hikmah and being just. Point number 2 is, in order for us, my dear sisters and brothers, to understand and comprehend that our intellect is not imprisoned, right? I want to see some more brighter faces than this. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Did you serve tea before? Looks like they haven't drunk tea. Okay, maybe coffee they need. So the idea, the second one is, my dear sisters and brothers, I'm going to give you this, and I do want you to reflect, and tomorrow I'm going to ask you about this. Okay, remember, I'm here from London. London is far away. I'm not here just to give you talks and go away. I want us all to reflect and learn. I want to go back and say, yes, it was worth it. Yeah. Not here just to say things. You've heard so many lectures here, mashallah, in Saba Center, in different languages, mashallah. I'm so impressed. But for me, I want to go back like I think I've benefited people. I've benefited myself, really. So this is called what I call the spiritual introspection. 4 stages. You with me? Yes? 4 stages. Stage number 1 is called al-musharata. I'll go into them in a bit. Al-musharata. Stage number 2 is al-muraqaba. Stage number 3 is al-muhasaba. Stage number 4 is what? Al-muaqaba. Okay, I'll go through them very quickly. What we need to do, if you want to discipline your soul, If you want to improve, make sure that the intellect is always there. Make sure that the desire and the anger doesn't overtake you. You got to practice this on a daily basis. Remember, especially our brothers, you go to the gym, it's part of your schedule. Speak to the brothers, I go to the gym. And you have membership in the gym. Where is your membership to your soul gym? The soul also needs a gym, doesn't it? And it's free, by the way. Free subscription. No need to pay any dollars, nothing. Free. Everything's free. All membership is free. Right? Forever is free. Not every 12 months you have to renew. It's all free. Membership for your soul gym. You've got to work out. Do a workout every day for your soul. We've got to do a workout. Yeah? It isn't just about this. It's about here. You've got to do a workout. And so, this is your workout. What do? You say, all right, the first stage is called al-musharata. I'm going to make a condition. Take an example, something that you're suffering from in your life right now. Something that you could do better in. For example, certain individuals might say, I've got difficulty in lowering my gaze. Yeah? Difficulty in lowering my gaze. Some people will say, well, actually, I have difficulty with anger. I always become angry. Some people will say, well, let's take it on more of a positive thing. Some people will say, I would love to pray Salatul Layl, but I just don't have the time. Yes? All of these things you want to fix so that it becomes, you help your soul grow. You choose whatever you want. Let's take an example of, some people say, I always do ghiba. I want to stop doing ghiba, backbiting. There's so many examples. Let's take an example of, so we say, talking ill of people. Yeah, talking ill of people. MashaAllah, these days on WhatsApp and forwards, and things like that, we just spread news, false information, fake news. Yeah? So we spread information that is not correct and speak ill of individuals. Let's say I want to improve this. I want to make sure that my desires do not overtake me, because when my desires overtake me, I start to speak ill of people and also anger. So the first thing I do is I set a condition. The condition says that I must not speak ill of people. You write that down. Remember we spoke about pen yesterday? Were you guys here? Pen. Guys, we're missing the pen. I can see some of the sisters, mashallah, brothers, terrible. They are writing things down. Right? The brothers, you know it all. You guys are cool, man. I know you know it all. MashaAllah. So you have the pen, yes, and you write down, I must not speak ill of anyone. That's your condition. You move into the next stage called al-muraqabah. Muraqabah means observation. So you observe yourself at every single moment of the day. You try and be cognizant that must not speak ill of anyone. Remember, you be in the present moment, continuously be in the present moment. Muraqabah is like you have a CCTV camera always on you. Alam ta'alam bi anna Allah yara. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, do you not know that Allah always sees, observes? Allah observes you, then why can't you observe yourself? The CCTV is always there. Yes? Alam ya'lam bi anna Allah yara. So then you observe, you become in the moment when you're at work and some people come and say, well, this individual man, just say, excuse me, sorry, I don't want to talk ill of anyone. We said this yesterday and we repeated, it's not really cool to talk ill of, it's not really cool to say to people, look, I don't want to do ghiba, I don't want to talk ill of anyone. You gotta start doing the ghiba because it's not cool enough. But no, you're a mu'min, you're a Hussaini, you're a follower of Hussain. You've got to say, look, I withdraw myself from this. I withdraw myself from this conversation. If you're sitting down with a group of people and they start talking about, for example, that rubbish lecture Ali al Hilli gave in Arbaeen in San Jose. We were all so bored. Okay, you say, well, okay, fine, that's your opinion. I respect that. But, you know, let's be kind to me, please. Okay? And so, you've always observed al-muraqaba. You're always observing. That's stage number 2. Yes? Stage number 1 is condition. I must not speak ill. Stage number 2 is a muraqaba. You observe every time. Stage number 3 is al-muhasaba. Is what? Accountability. Al-Imam al-Kadhim salamullahi alayhi says, لَيْسَ مِنَّا مَنْ لَمْ يُحَاسِبْ نَفْسَهُ فِي كُلِّ يَوْمٍ. You are not amongst us, Ahlul Bayt, if you are not made accountable of your own things you do on a daily basis, he says. I tried this daily basis. It is hard. It's hard. But if you can do it, do it. You sit down before you sleep. You say, okay, so I go, by the way, you can have many, many conditions. This is just one condition. You say, okay, so today my condition was I must not speak ill of people. Al-muraqaba, I observed. Al-muhasaba, did I do it? Oh yes, when I sat down in a Saba Center, we were having chai, they started talking about this individual, and then I was hearing it as well. I contributed to that. You write it down. Don't be too harsh on yourself. Okay, you've done a mistake. It's okay. Allah Ghafurun Rahim. You write that down. You move to the next stage, which is al-mu'aqaba. For me, that's the most interesting stage. Al-mu'aqaba means what? Means self-discipline. Means what? Self-punishment. Not physically. We don't call for that. But what we say is that you say that if in this when you make your condition, if that you fail in this condition, you will pay $1,000 to Saba Center. Or pay $1,000 to orphans or charity or whatever. Or if you're financially not stable, you say, I will fast for 2 days. This is practical, guys. You want to self-discipline yourself? Do you want to make sure that you're always in control? This is practical. Say, if I speak ill of anyone, if I do ghiba of anyone, if I see indecent images, if I don't lower my gaze, etc., if I don't pray Salatul Layl tomorrow, then I will pay this amount to charity. And there's a way to do this that it will become wajib on you. You have to say the following words. The ulama say, if you start this sentence by saying, Lillahi alay, you start to say, Lillahi alay, and then you say the condition, it becomes wajib on you. You have to do it. But if you come and say, well, yeah, I will do this, it won't become wajib. But shar'an, it will become wajib if you say, Lillahi alay. Yes? And so, when we look at this particular issue, we can easily make it wajib for us. Yes? I say, Lillahi alay, I don't want to do this and that. And so these are the 4 stages. Al-musharata, the condition. Al-muraqaba, observation. Al-muhasaba, accountability. And al-mu'aqaba, the self-discipline. Yes? All of these 4 stages, you can practice this every single day. This is the gym membership that you have for your soul. Imagine how long will that take? It won't take more than 5 minutes. 5-10 minutes. We go and spend hours in the gym, but we don't do it for our own soul. And this, my dear sisters and brothers, is something that we've got to work on. Because I say this again and again and again. Kuntum khayra ummatin ukhrijat linnas. You're the best of nations. Are we believers or not? Let's be honest. Are we believers of Allah? Are we believers of our religion, Islam? Are we believers of Ahlul Bayt? Are we believers of Hussain salamullah alayh? Are we believers of Al-Mahdi? Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. If we are believers, then guys, we've got to work on ourselves because we are the best of nations. And it is expected from us to work really, really hard. There's a narration I saw, and inshallah we'll end There's a narration I heard once that someone came to Imam al-Sadiq. He says, when can I have raha? When can I have peace in my life? He says, the first day that you will have peace is the first day of Jannah. You're looking for peace and happiness in this world? Keep on seeking it, but you won't get it. Because this, as we said yesterday, as what Imam Hussain Salamullahi alayhi said, yesterday we said that some people go from the world to the world, some people go from the world to the hereafter, some people go from the hereafter to the world. But Hussein went from the hereafter to the hereafter. He lived the hereafter. When he said, هَوِّنْ عَلَيَّ مَا نَزَلَ بِي أَنَّهُ بِعَيْنِ اللَّهِ. Imagine that you are all alone and you are injured and the enemy coming to cut you into pieces. And he looks up and he says, oh Allah, هَوِّنْ عَلَيَّ. This is easy for me because it's under the eyes of God. You know, we all go through trials and calamities. How many of us just say, this is easy for me, bring it on more, because this is under the eyes of God. هَوِّنْ عَلَيَّ مَا نَزَلَ بِي أَنَّهُ بِعَيْنِ اللَّهِ. It's all easy, because I'm living in the hereafter. Okay? I'm living in the hereafter and I'm going to the hereafter. This world is only temporary. And when we remember Abu Abdullah al Hussain Salamullahi alayhi, and remember the tragedy of Karbala, we remember that Hussein Salamullahi alayhi actually was in control of his kingdom. Was someone who had in his heart absolute purity. He understood his soul. And when we examine the soul of Abu Abdullah al Hussain, it was so pure that when he welcomed Al-Hur, for example, Hur, by the way, he did a lot of bad things. You know, before he became the follower of Abu Abdullah al Hussain. But then the beauty of the heart of Abu Abdullah al Hussain, he didn't have hate towards them. He just prayed for them that Allah will guide them. And then he accepted Al-Hur towards that particular path and would have accepted anyone else as well. That was the soul of Abu Abdullah al Hussain Salamullahi alayhi. And my dear sisters and brothers, we take our hearts to Karbala. This place now that we know millions and millions of people all around the world are marching towards this one place. You tell me, where does this happen ever? Or anywhere around the world? But this is the path of Ahlul Bayt Salamullahi alayhim. It's a struggle. Yes, it's a struggle. But it's one that we've got to cherish. Some narrations say that, my dear brothers and sisters, on the 13th of Muharram, when the tribe of Bani Asad, they wanted to come and help Abu Abdullah al Hussain Salamullahi alayhi. But for some reason, they arrived late. They arrived around the 12th or the 13th of Muharram, narrations say. They came and saw the corpses right in front of them in the lands of Karbala. They saw the limbs, they saw the bits and pieces all around. They saw the blood everywhere. And they were absolutely devastated. They came too late. One thing that they said, the least we can do is to bury these particular corpses. Bury these pure souls. But of course, they did not know how to identify these. Narrations say that for the Ahlul Bayt Salamullahi alayhim, an imam has to bury an imam. And so, narrations say that Al-Sajjad Salamullahi alayhi appeared in Karbala on the 13th. He left Al-Kufa and he came to bury the soul, the body of Abu Abdullah al Hussain Salamullahi alayhi and the companions. Narrations say, my dear sisters and brothers, that when As-Sajjad Salamullahi alayhi came, he saw Bani Asad. They told him, oh Ali ibn al Hussein, we are here to bury these particular corpses, these particular souls. Help us to identify them. And he said, it's not difficult for me to identify the body of my father, Abu Abdullah al-Hussein. And so narrations say that he took a few of the straws, yes, and then he started to take some parts of the limbs of the body of Abu Abdullah al-Hussein, the ones that was trampled on the day of Ashura. He took them all, put them all into one piece, and then put them down into the grave, this blessed grave of Abu Abdullah al-Hussein, salamullahi alayhi. And my dear sisters and brothers, we also have narrations that individuals came later and ate later on Arbaeen day and after that to come and visit this particular sacred grave. And there was one individual who lived at the time of 5 Imams. This individual called Jabir ibn Abdullah al-Ansari. This individual who was blind, he was old. But narrations say that nothing stopped him from coming to visit the grave of Abu Abdullah al-Hussein, salamullahi alayhi. Of course, he would have loved to come and help, but because of his illness, he couldn't. So he came on the day of the 40th. He wanted to do the ziyarah of Abu Abdullah al-Hussein, salamullahi alayhi, and he had an assistant with him. They walked at night and slept during the day. And then when he arrived, he wanted to wash in the waters of Furat. And he said to his assistant, he said, take me to the grave of Hussein. He can smell the fragrance of Abu Abdullah al-Hussein, salamullahi alayhi. And then when he was taken to the grave of Abu Abdullah, narrations say that he fell on the grave and he lost the consciousness. And then when he gained consciousness, he recited, Ya Hussein, 3 times. Recite with me. Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein. And then he said, La Habib, La Yajib Habib. And then narrations say that he narrated this particular ziyarah. And he said, Assalamu alaykum ayyatuha al-arwahu al-tayyibah التي تابعت الحسين وأناقت برحله أشهد أنكم أقمتم الصلاة وآتيتم الزكاة وأمرتم بالمعروف ونهيتم عن المنكر وعبدتم الله مخلصا حتى أتاكم اليقين والذي بعث محمدا بالحق نبيا صلى الله عليه وقال لقد شاركناكم فيما دخلتم فيه. And the famous Arabic poetry says, الأمس كانوا معي واليوم قد رحلوا. Yesterday they were with me and today they have departed. وخلفوا في سويد القلب نيرانا, leaving within the depths of my heart burning fires. نذر علي لئن عادوا وإن رجعوا. I vowed that if they ever return and indeed come back, لأزرعن طريق الطف ريحانا. If they ever was to come back, oh Hussein, if you ever were to come back, I will plant along the path of kindness and fragrant basil. لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. وسيعلم الذين ظلموا أي منقلب ينقلبون والعاقبة للمتقين ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. Raise your hand in supplication, my dear sisters and brothers. These are blessed times. These are the times where, inshaAllah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accepts our a'mal, accepts our deeds, inshaAllah. Oh Allah, bihaqqi Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad, accept all the majalis here at Saba Center, Ya Allah. Oh Allah, bihaqqi Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad, give us the opportunity to visit the holy lands, Ya Allah. Oh Allah, bihaqqi Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad, give shifa to all those mu'mineen and mu'minat who are suffering from physical and mental illnesses, Ya Allah. Oh Allah, bihaqqi Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad, remove the oppression of the people of Gaza, Ya Allah. Oh Allah, bihaqqi Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad, hasten the arrival of the 12th Imam, Ya Allah. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. ماتم يا حسين.
يا حسين يا حسين يا حسين يا حسين. Brothers, please move forward for the matam. Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein. Hussein, Hussein, King of martyrs. Hussein, Hussein has been slaughtered. Hussein, Hussein, true believers. Hussein, Hussein are his weepers. Hussein, Hussein, King of martyrs. Hussein, Hussein has been slaughtered. Hussein, Hussein, true believers. Hussein, Hussein are his weepers. Hussein, Hussein, King of martyrs. Hussein has been slaughtered. Hussein, Hussein, true believers. Hussein are his weepers. Here I lie, Ya Mawlai, run to me before I die. Here I lie, Ya Mawlai, run to me before I die. Oh my uncle, there's my blood, let me see you one last time. As I'm leaving, going further, I'm seeing your murder. I'm a martyr sliced for you, to be sacrificed for you. Oh, there will be pains for you, when no one remains for you, when no one remains for you. Hussein, Hussein, King of martyrs. Hussein has been slaughtered. Hussein, true believers. Hussein are his weepers. Hussein, Hussein, King of martyrs. Hussein, Hussein has been slaughtered. Hussein, true believers. Hussein are his weepers. Why the pain, Ya while we die upon this plain. Why the pain, Ya Hussein, while we die upon this plain? Where's Muhammad, where's Qasim? Soldiers so young have been slain. All the loved ones that you've carried, all the young ones you've buried, all the loved ones that you've carried, all the young ones you've buried. Now you've witnessed all your sons swear to you by the Quran, we will serve you on and on. Hussein, Hussein, Hussein Jan, Hussein, Hussein, Hussein Jan, Hussein, Hussein, King of martyrs. Hussein, Hussein has been slaughtered. Hussein, true believers. Hussein, Hussein are his weepers. Hussein, Hussein, King of martyrs. Hussein, Hussein has been slaughtered. Hussein, true believers. Hussein, his weepers. Abbas, Ya Abbas, you're the bravest of us. Abbas, Ya Abbas, you're the bravest of us. You're a reminder that Ali is above us. As he's daring to bring water, they're preparing his slaughter. As he's daring to bring water, they're preparing his slaughter. Oh, flag bearer, where's your hand? Is it bleeding on the sand? Will Sakina understand? You were loyal to her command. You were loyal to her command. Hussein, Hussein, King of martyrs. Hussein, Hussein has been slaughtered. Hussein, Hussein, true believers. Hussein, Hussein are his weepers. Take me to Karbala, leave me there. Take me to Karbala, leave me there. Take me to Karbala, leave me there, leave me there. Take me to Karbala, leave me there. Take me to Karbala, leave me there. Take me to Karbala, leave me there, leave me there. Hussein, Hussein, boy, Hussein, boy, Hussein, boy. صلوا على محمد وآل محمد.
محمد. السلام عليك يا رسول الله، السلام عليك يا حبيب الله، السلام عليك يا خيرة خلق الله ورحمة الله وبركاته، السلام عليك يا أمير المؤمنين علي بن أبي طالب.